This is 7.5 lesson 1, the back side of it, where we are going to be putting together the volumes of all of our objects. Okay, so letter E says Jose measures the diameter of a ball. So remember, a ball is a sphere, as 60 inches. So our diameter is 60, that's important. How many cubic inches of air can the ball hold to the nearest tenth? Use 3.14 for pi. So for our sphere, we have volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, so we have 4/3, but I tell you in this problem to use 3.14 for pi, so we can go ahead and change that. And then our radius, well, I give you diameter. Radius is going to be half, so that's going to give us 30. So for r, we're going to have 30 to the third power. Okay, 30 to the third power. So we have 4/3 times 3.14 times 27,000. When we multiply all those together, we get 1,130,000. Oh, I'm sorry, I think I have that off. 113,000. There we go. 40. Okay. Our units are inches. Since we're talking about volume, it's going to be inches cubed. So there's our volume. Letter F. Air is leaking from a spherical shape advertising balloon. Okay, so again, we have a sphere at a rate of 26 cubic feet per minute. If the radius of the ball is 7 feet, how long would it take for the ball to empty fully? Okay, so we need to know how much air is in the ball first before we can figure out how long it takes to deplete the balloon of air. Okay, so again, we're talking about a sphere, so our volume is 4/3 pi r cubed, where our radius is 7, and I use 3.14 for pi. So we have 4/3 times 3.14 times 7 to the third power. So we're going to multiply all these together. It's going to give me about 1,436 feet cubed. Okay, and it depletes at a rate of 26 cubic feet per minute. Okay, so that means I need to take my answer here, 1,436, and divide it by 26 per minute. That's going to give me about 55.2, and then we're talking how long it would it take. So this is in minutes. There's our final answer. Letter G. Find the height of a cone with a given volume. So our formula for volume is 1/3 area of the base times height. Okay, but we have to remember here, our base of a cone is a circle, so we're going to change that to pi r squared. The rest stays the same. Okay, but we know some different information this time. We know that this is our volume. So for V, we can go ahead and put 225 equals. We have 1/3 pi. We know our radius. 10 is our diameter, so halfway across is going to be 5. So this is 5 squared. But we don't know h, so we're going to leave h as h. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and find 5 squared. So we have 225 equals 1/3 pi times 25 h. Okay, and then we can still over here multiply 1/3 and 25 to get 8 and 1/3 pi times our height. Now in order to get h by itself, we need to get rid of this part right here. And since this is multiplication, we're going to use division to get rid of it. Okay, so we can do 225 divided by 8 and 1/3 to get 27. So these two numbers divided give me 27, and I still have pi. I just leave pi alone. Well, I'm sorry, no. We're going to have to multiply by pi. I apologize, guys. So we're going to go ahead and do 8 and 1/3 times pi. So that's going to give me a denominator of about 26.2. So I'm going to need to do 225 divided by 26.2, and that's going to give me a height of about 8.6. Now our units are just going to be centimeters. Our height is only centimeters. This is not an area, this is not a volume, so we leave it alone as centimeters. Okay, so just to refresh you again, because I screwed that up just a little bit, go ahead and do 8 1/3 times 3.14, that's 26.2. And do 225 divided by 26.2, and that gives me 8.6. Okay. Letter H. A cone has a volume of 8 pi and a height of 6. What is the radius? So this time we don't know our radius. So again, we start off with our same formula. Volume equals 1/3 area of the base times height. But again, remember our base is a circle, so it's pi r squared. We leave everything else alone. We know our volume, so we can put 8 pi instead of v equals 1/3 pi. We don't know what our radius is, so we leave it as r squared, times our height is 6. Okay, now we can go ahead and multiply 1/3 and 6, and that gives me 2. So I have 2 pi r squared. Okay, I need to get r by itself, and just like the last problem, we're going to go ahead and divide by 2 pi, because that's going to cancel on this right side. Now guys, when I have a pi on top and a pi on bottom like this, they actually cancel each other out, and we really just have 8 divided by 2, which is 4. So now I have 4 equals r squared. Well, it's r squared, so in order to get squared, we need to square root both sides, and that gives me 2 for my r. Now our units are feet, just like before with our height. Our radius is just regular feet because it's a length. This is not an area, this is not a volume, so we do not have any exponents here. Letter I, a pyramid with a square base has a volume of 120 and a height of 10. Okay, what is the length of the side of a base? So remember, our formula for a pyramid is volume equals 1/3 area of the base times height, but our base is a square. Okay, so we substitute s squared for our base, and we fill in what we know. Our volume is 120 equals 1/3. We don't know what the side of our base is, but we know that our height is 10. So we can go ahead and multiply 1/3 times 10. So we have 120 equals 3 1/3 s squared. In order to get s squared by itself, we have to divide by 3 1/3. Oops, I'm sorry. And we get 36 equals s squared. So that means we still have one more step. We have to square root both sides, and we get 6 for our s, and our units are meters. Letter J, a pyramid has a height of 9 yards and a volume of 96 cubic yards. Which of these are possible dimensions for its rectangular base? Okay, so we're going to set this up. Volume equals 1/3 area of the base times height. So we know this is a rectangle, so we change our area of our base to length times width, and our rest stays the same. So our volume is 96 equals 1/3. We don't know our length or our width, but we know that our height is 9. We can go ahead and do 1/3 times 9. Okay. Now, in order to get our length and our width by itself, we're going to go ahead and divide by 3. We get 32. So 32 is our length times our width, which means that we are looking for one of these. When multiplied together, it's going to give us 32. Okay, so 4 times 8 does equal 32, and it's our only one out of the 4 that equals 32. Letter K. Erica receives a prize at the science fair for having the most informative project. Her trophy is in the shape of a square pyramid and is covered in shiny gold. How much gold foil did it take to cover the trophy, including the bottom? So So guys, if I'm covering the outside, that means I need to find the area of the outside, or the surface area of this figure. Okay, so in order to find surface area, I find the area of all parts. So again, like before, I always like to start with my base, and my base is a square. The formula for my square is A equals S squared. The side of my square is 3, so this is 3 squared, or 9. Then we see we have 4 triangles. They are all the same since I have a square base. So we have 4 of these triangles. Formula for the area of a triangle is area equals 1/2 base times height. 1/2 times, we can see over here the base of our triangle is going to be 3, and the height of our triangle we see is 6. Okay, so this is going to be 9, but we have to remember that we have 4 of them, so we have to multiply that by 4, which is 36. But to find our total surface area, we need to do 9 plus 36. Oops. And we get 45. And then our units are inches, and this is area, so it is squared.